Howdy everybody. So I got a great question earlier, and today we are going to talk about forehead whorls or swirls. People call them different things. Well, not just forehead. It's actually there's this thing within horsemanship called Whorl lore. That's spelled W-H-O-R-L. Whorl, okay. It's hard to say. Whorl lore. And it actually refers to the study of hair whorls or swirls on horses, and like how they might correlate with the temperament of or even the personality or physical traits of horses. So they are natural patterns in the horse's coat where the hair will grow like in different directions, and Cutter here is a wonderful example because Cutter is full of whorls and swirls. Like you see this right here on his on the side of his head. This would be a whorl or a swirl. See how the hair goes in different directions? Same thing with this one on his face. He's got a lot of these different whorls and swirls. He's got another one right here. He's really got them all over. He's got another one down here. He's quite loaded with them. And he's got one under his forehead here. Come here, baby boy. Move your... Come here. He doesn't want to. That's fine. I'm not going to force him right now. But anyway, you can see how the hair is growing in different directions. That would be considered a whorl or a swirl, okay? Now, some of the common whorl lore beliefs, like if they have them on their forehead, and most horses do have them on their forehead, you know, there's one, if they're on their forehead, like a single centered whorl, like right in the middle of their head here, then that is often associated with a balanced, kind of easygoing, predictable temperament, okay? If they have a really high forehead whorl, which could be way up here, then it's thought to indicate like a more energetic or reactive or sensitive horse. And then if they have them on their low forehead, it could sometimes be linked, like if it were down here, it could be linked to a quieter or more thoughtful personality, so they say. Now, if they have double or multiple whorls, which Cutter certainly does, he's got a ton of them, he's here with Shakespeare right now, then that basically means that the horse is thought to be more complex and unpredictable and have a more unpredictable personality. Now, some trainers do believe that they associate it with really quick learning, but other ones say that it could be a really moody horse. So it really just depends on the horse itself. Now, I will say that Cutter has been known to really dislike some people. He does not let certain people ride him at all. He will buck you off. He does let me ride him. I had no problem with him at all under saddle. But if the barn owner here tries to ride him, Cutter just really throws a fit. I'm going to duck under him really quickly, and I'm going to show you the other side of his face. See, he's got another whorl right there on that side of his face. So Cutter, and another one right there, he has multiple whorls in him. So Cutter is just a fantastic example of a horse. I know you're so handsome. He is a fantastic example of a horse who has many whorls and swirls on him. Let's go take a look at, for instance, I mean, my horses don't really have a bunch of whorls or swirls. They've all got one kind of on their forehead, but see, Wyatt's got one a little lower on his forehead here. Well, he's not really cooperating, but there is one right there. But not a whole lot going on with his. And True doesn't really have many. Shakespeare doesn't really have many. But anyway, back to whorls. If they have whorls on the neck or shoulders or along the back, those have been linked to horses having different movement tendencies and different conformation. And conformation and movement tendencies just means the way that they move, the way that they carry their bodies. He doesn't really have any on his sides or anything. So I don't really have that much to show you. But some people believe that if they have whorls on their left side, it is left-sided dominance in movement, whereas right-sided whorls suggest right-sided dominance movement. Kind of like being right-handed or left-handed, the horse will be more prone to you know, utilize their left or right side more, supposedly in this, you know, in this lore, so to speak. There is some superstition surrounding whorls and swirls as well. There's some cultural and historical significance. Don't be ugly. Cultural and historical significance. Some people think that whorls or swirls on a horse, you know, they think it's very unlucky. They think that that horse is going to be like a bad horse. They feel that, oh gosh, you know, you need to avoid. It's kind of like superstitious behavior. Yeah, you're very, so I just want to really quickly show you. He's nibbling her because she is in heat, and she's acting a little, you know, a little marish about that, but you know, totally normal. Anyway, yeah. So back to the whorls and swirls. Ancient horsemen, and actually, you know, various cultures, like the Bedouins and stuff like that, they used to think that it was very, very unlucky to have a horse with whorls or swirls, and in fact, some of them would either absolutely go for the horses with the whorls or swirls, and other ones would completely avoid those horses and not want anything to do with them. And they would actually, when they were at like horse trading things or they were purchasing horses, they didn't want anything to do with the ones that had whorls or swirls on them. It's kind of like a black cat, you know, superstitious. And even black, you know, black animals, black horses. I don't know if you all know this, but black animals in general are the least adopted animals out of all of them. They will stay in the shelters the longest because people have superstitions and prejudices, just like they do in real life. So, but, you know, there's not really any definitive scientific evidence that suggests that there's real proof behind Whorl lore, but many equestrians, you know, they still believe in it, and they still kind of swear by it. So it's just a matter of what you believe, what you choose to participate in, and you know, how you kind of assess horses accordingly. But even though Cutter here has a ton of whorls and swirls, you know, I wouldn't trade him for anything. He's just an awesome guy. Love him to death, and he's been a super good friend to me. Regardless of his whorls or swirls or whatever you want to call them. I adore this horse, and he's just a super cool guy. So anyway, there you have it, and great question. Keep them coming.